Hello. I am going to make a quick video on how I saved my dog at home who had parvo. I apologize for video quality. I am not putting much time and effort into editing. This isn't about subscriptions and likes. This is just trying to put information out there. I don't even know if I have my face in frame. Again, this is just about putting information out there. I know when I was looking, I found one or two videos that were very helpful, but they didn't have a few of the other things and helpful tips, hints, and suggestions that worked for me. So, let's start with the standard medication that the vet gave. I will not even try to pronounce them. They gave him a ton of meds, stuff to stimulate his appetite, diarrhea to treat the antibiotics, to treat the parvo, and medication to treat the actual, where's the name of this meds? Okay. To treat the actual bleeding in the intestines. IV bag, I had to give him 500 mLs every 8 hours, which is a bit scary, having to give one of these big needles. It actually is not that difficult. As I said, it is scary. I've never done anything like it. I'll show you on Layla here. You just pinch up on the back of their neck and, build that little pouch there. And just stick it right in that little pouch. You'll feel a little bit of resistance, and then once you feel that little bit of resistance, another little push and it's in. The vet should have showed you how to do it. Good things to have on hand. Bleach. You're going to need to spray down pretty much everything, especially if you have other dogs like I do. 10-to-1 mixture. I pretty much coated my entire house. Anytime the dog went to the bathroom, obviously cleaned it up and bleached it. Hand sanitizer and hand sanitizing wipes pretty much for every time I touched them and had to give him medicine, which I had to do pretty much. Didn't sleep for a week or two. I think it was about 11 days before he ate on his own. During those times, to keep him alive, corn syrup on his gums. About every 2 hours, I would put a nice little gob on my fingertip and rub it on his gums to keep his sugar levels up. Baby food. This is actually what's left over. He didn't like this too much. This is chicken and apple. The better was sweet potato. That's what he did eat. I would take a teaspoon of sweet potato baby food, watered it down a little bit to make it a little bit more easier in the dropper, and force feed him a teaspoon of sweet potato baby food about every hour or so. These right here, digestive enzymes, a probiotic, they help replenish everything that he's losing from the virus. Pedialyte, because he's not eating or drinking, the diarrhea, the vomiting. This helps a lot. Pepto-Bismol is, you want to talk to your vet before giving it to them. Sometimes this can help. I gave a tiny bit every day, about a half a teaspoon every day, just to give a little bit to help coat his stomach. And vitamin B, B12, good for them, helps replenish everything. Let's see what else we got here. And this, the acid reducer. The vet actually put him on that. And I also gave him a little bit of Mylanta once a day. All just to try to keep him healthy and put back into his body what he was losing. And all of this stuff helped. It was just staying with him and staying on top of it. I really did want to get paxxin. I've heard so many good things about it, but it is very difficult to find. The only place I found it was online, and it was like an 8-day waiting delivery. And I did find one on Amazon, but it was like $100 and something. And I think it was 3-day delivery. So, but I ended up just going with this and the B12. And the poor guy ended up with worms as well. So we had to deworm him. And he'll be getting this in a couple of days. So that's everything I gave him during the sickness while he had parvo. Now that he is recovering, eventually he will be going on a little bit of pumpkin mixed in with his dry food. Right now he is on rice and chicken. I bought big boxes of instant rice and big cans of chicken. The cans of chicken, just make sure you cook them, because it says they're fully cooked, but they are not. So cook them, mix them up, maybe throw an egg or some cheese in there. It's all good stuff for them as long as it's not too much cheese or eggs. That helps with, because his stomach is going to be really sensitive. He's not going to be too good with holding food down. You might see a little bit of throwing up, and the recovery part is a headache, because you have to learn to separate what is a symptom and what is just him eating too fast, or him or her eating too fast, or being too active after eating. Because now that he is better, here he is. Now that he is better, it's been about 16, 17 days since the last bloody stool. He is very active, and I have to kind of force him to chill out and not be active and not play. He's a good boy. Yeah, good boy. And he is around the other dogs. They've all had all their parvo shots. He only had his first round. He's still a puppy. He didn't have the second shots yet. So yeah. What else? During the recovery, even after the bloody stool, you might get really watery stool to the point where it's almost like he is incontinent or she is incontinent. It's that, I know it freaked me out, but apparently this is perfectly normal. It happens. They might go back and forth between having very watery loose stool to it starting to solid up a little bit. That's what he's been doing, and he ended up having worms as well. So that's also why he has loose stool. Hopefully that'll starting to fix up, and hopefully it'll all go away. Poor guy got it bad, but all of that is normal. Not the worms, but the loose stool for at least a week or two. You should still call your vet if it's, I think, past like 3 or 4 days. You should call your vet. They probably want to bring them in to reevaluate them just to be sure. But it is to be expected. And it is possible to save him. When I took him to the ER vet, they pretty much told me he was going to die if I take him home. And it was absolutely heartbreaking, but paying $9,000. If I had it, I would have, but I don't have $9,000 for keeping him in a vet. And the vet I took him to happened to be a really expensive one. So it's something I also recommend. If your dog isn't sick and you happen to be watching this just because of whatever reason, have an ER vet picked out already. Like, call around, find out prices, ask various things. Look into pet insurance, because that is something I now do have. I have progressive pet insurance for all my dogs now. And that's awesome. It's actually not that expensive, and if you get the right plan, it pays for itself with routine checkups and routine shots. It'll pay for itself, and you'll see the money you'll save. And if, God forbid, something bad happens, they get sick, then it really pays for itself. And what else is a good thing to have on Mylanta and antacids are good things to have on hand. During recovery, you want to make sure that they're not eating too much too fast, because there's still so many horrible things that could happen. Reading on the internet was a bad idea for me, because I read so much about parvo in the recovery process. Like, their stomach can flip, and from eating too fast, or it's you just need to be careful with them. You need to keep them calm and loved and support them and be with them, and just stay on top of it. And it's possible to save them at home. I've read a few studies. It's said the at-home parvo treatment is like 84% success rate versus the 87% rate of keeping them in the vet. And it's a $500 price tag to a $5,000 to $10,000 price tag difference. The only thing you really can't do at home is, blood transfusions or tube feeding. But everything else you can do. And Peanut actually did need to have a tube. He should have been tube fed. If he was in a vet, they would have done that, because he didn't eat for over 10 days. The corn syrup and the baby food, he got about almost a whole thing of baby food a day, and the on the Pedialyte, that was enough to keep him going, give him the strength he needed to keep fighting. And now he fought it. Now he's good. So again, sorry you're going through it. I am sorry if things weren't 100% clear, or if any information, if there's any questions, just ask. Again, this video wasn't about subscriptions and likes. It was just getting information out there. I'm sorry if I rambled, or I have hardly slept. Even though he's in the recovery phase, I'm still on top of every little thing and with him. Lucky for me, I'm laid off of work right now temporarily. I do unfortunately go back this week, but I had the time to stay with him 24/7. Any questions, just please post in the comments. I will be more than happy to ask or answer. Sorry.